Congratulations on the film. It is so great.
Oh gosh, thanks so much.
It's just so brilliant. Not only is it a great addition to the Rocky franchise, but it's an amazing new adventure for new viewers. Can you tell me a bit about how you came on board and what was your initial reaction when you found out you were going to be part of this amazing franchise?
Oh, well, I was so excited. When I first thought about the movie, to me it was the next Ryan Coogler movie, and I was such a fan of his from Fruitvale Station. I thought that his collaboration with Mike was so special, so I was really excited about that. And then it was only upon going back and watching the Rocky movies after I'd been cast that it started to really sink in what I was being a part of. But yeah, I tried not to think about that too much, because I think when you think about anything iconic that you have to step into, it can be really daunting. So as soon as I started to think about that, I'm like, oh God, am I Adrian 2015, 2016? I just try to ignore too many of those thoughts and just think about it being the next Ryan Coogler movie, and that was something that I was so excited to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, the character of Bianca, she's very well together, and she's a strong, independent woman. What was it about her that resonated with you, and how did you go about developing this character?
Well, I loved, for example, that she's a musician, because it meant that I got to write, these songs for the movie, and that was a unique challenge, so I loved that about it. I liked that she was somebody that wasn't just ringside, that she was someone that stood to support Michael's character, Adonis, but she also had her own dreams and ambitions that sometimes stood in conflict. I like that you got to see, a woman that was sure of herself, that knew where she was going and what she wanted. And I don't think that's something that you get to see too often, especially in the context of, a sports movie and a movie that's pretty masculine. So I loved all those things about it.
Yeah, you mentioned singing. I know that you did work for Dear White People as well with music. Have you always been interested in music, and is it fun to bring that to the films that you're doing?
It is fun. That the Dear White People thing kind of happened by happenstance. I had been sort of as a hobbyist singing in some friends, their band for 2 years. It would be a nice thing because, movies in Hollywood can be such an insular thing that even when you're not working, you're fretting about when you're gonna work, and I just prefer to stay busy and do other things. So I was going on tour with that band outside of making movies. And then when I was working on Dear White People, the team, they just loved the band. And so they thought, could we use one of your songs in the movie? And then we were kind of like, can we write a song for the movie? And it kind of happened organically. This, of course, was a part of the challenge. I knew when Ryan was casting Bianca that an imperative for him was that the actress, the musician, writes the music. So that was kind of a different thing. I loved integrating it, but to be honest with you, at first it was daunting. I had the space of 2 weeks to find the voice of a musician that had spent her whole life to find it. So it was scary, but I like doing things that scare me in my work.
You mentioned it being scary. Would you say that was the biggest challenge of playing this role?
No, initially I thought it was the biggest challenge, so that's kind of how I pursued it. And then I got 2 weeks in, and Ryan was like, come to Philadelphia. And then I realized that the biggest challenge was trying to I'd never been to Philadelphia a day in my life. Trying to bring a sense of Philly in this character. So that ended up being the biggest challenge. Trying to really I spent about a month and a half in Philadelphia, trying to really work out, who she was and how the city influenced both her and her music and her personality. So that ended up being the challenging thing. And the accent.
I was going to say, you have a great accent.
In the movie?
In the movie, yeah.
Oh, thanks.
When you go for the Philly steak, it's really great accent, because I thought that was your voice, but then I thought, Dear White People, you sound so different.
Yeah, I know. I've had a couple flattering moments where someone, at the premiere actually, an actor, came up to me, wasn't familiar with my work, neither here nor there, but was like, so is this your first movie? I've definitely had a couple people, I think they think I was plucked out of Philly, that he found me on some street corner or stoop and put me in a movie. I find it to be a compliment. I was like, no,
great
but thank you for that.
It's okay. You and Michael have such an amazing chemistry on screen. What was he like to work with, and how did you guys go about building that relationship?
I think we had a mutual kind of respect for each other. I was working so hard on the music. He was working so hard on the physicality. He never uses a stunt double in the whole movie. He fights real boxers. So I think we had a real mutual respect for one another. and a looseness. We admire each other, but it was, it's awkward because they do these chemistry tests to see if you're going to get on. And that the first time I met Mike was in the context of that. It was like a room not unlike this one. We're stood in front of cameras and people are like, do they like each other? Which is always weird. But I got lucky, and I think I got the part because we did just naturally really like each other, just sort of straight away.
Yeah.
So yeah, we like to goof around, but we also have an incredible amount of respect. We're both really like to work hard, and so we admire each other for that.
Really quickly, do you have a favorite Rocky film or a favorite moment from the Rocky franchise?
My favorite is Rocky 1. Rocky 1 and Rocky 2. Those are kind of the ones that I really like. My favorite moment from all of the Rocky franchise is when he takes Adrian on a date and they go ice skating. And I love it now because I know through Irwin Winkler that the way that happened is because it was supposed to be, they were always supposed to be ice skating, but the rink was supposed to be full and they couldn't afford it. So they couldn't have any extras.
Oh.
So they had to rewrite the scene that he
on their own.
Yeah, which is, I just think, so sweet.